So I'm entering my senior year of high school, and through these past 4 years, there were some things that I really wish I did know, but no one was around to tell me them. And I bet if I told myself back then the things I'm about to tell you today, these 9 things, then I would have been so much more ahead of where I am right now. Like, I could have been jacked, I could have been shredded, I could have been smarter 3 years ago if I told myself what I'm about to now. And the first one is to not listen to your parents. And maybe like, oh, like, that doesn't make sense. Let me give you a little story here. When you were about 4 or 5 years old, you went to go play outside. Your parents kept a little watch on you, they watched you from the porch. They're looking down at their son. Oh man, like, he's playing, he's having fun, but don't go on the road, don't go on the road. Right, he tells their son that. And their son is like, okay, I won't go on the road. But why? And the parents tell him, oh, it's because, if you go on the road, you'll get hit by a car, which will get you hurt. We don't want you to go to the hospital and get hurt. You're like, oh, okay. And now, as I'm telling you this, you're like, oh, common sense. Like, why would you go on the road? You will get hit by a car. Same thing, another scenario. You're in the kitchen, you're with your parents, and they're cooking something, right? They're cooking up some food, and you're just there messing around. Maybe you're playing with some toys. And you go up and you're about to touch the stove and your parents are like, no, don't touch it. You're gonna burn yourself. Look, if you touch this, you're gonna burn yourself. It's really hot. You're like, oh, okay, but why? It'll get you hurt. We'll have to go to the hospital. You'll get hurt. You're like, oh, okay, I won't do it. Your parents were right there. Right? They were right. They're teaching you how to survive. They're teaching you how you can stay so that you don't have to kill yourself during the first 10 years of your life. You're not really conscious, you're still very reliant on your parents. But now you're entering high school, right? You're able to watch this video and understand what I'm saying. You have a level of consciousness. If you watched this video when you were 4, you'd probably click off by now. You go to some like stupid kid show, SpongeBob, whatever. SpongeBob's cool, actually. I love SpongeBob. But, if you're a kid, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. But you're able to understand what I'm saying now, so you have consciousness. What they're going to tell you now is more for opinion than it is for survival. So let me give you an example. They're going to tell you stuff like, oh, you got to go to college to be successful. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an opinion. Maybe that's a bit of survival. But it's not really like something that's true necessarily. There are people who have been successful without college. You're like, okay, whatever. And they tell you need grades to be successful, right? Grades are going to determine your life, where you go for college, what you do with all that. You're like, oh, okay, maybe that's a bit more of an opinion. Like, it's not exactly true, Like, you had bad grades, Mom. Like, why are you telling me that? And then they tell you something like, oh, don't trust people. They'll take advantage of you. Don't talk to these type of people. That's entirely opinion. Most racist remarks, most remarks about other people, they're all opinion. Because I won't blame them for this either. They've gone through these experiences in their own life where they're like, maybe they've been betrayed by friends. Maybe they've been betrayed by people of a certain race or a certain color. Maybe Indian people, black people, whatever, right? And now they're going to come up and tell you this. And you know for a fact it's not true. Because you've experienced in your own life, oh no, they're actually really nice. So what's happening here is they're pretty much pushing their beliefs on you to make you more like them. Now I got a question to ask you. Do you want to be like your parents? No, most people probably want to be better than them. Now, okay, if your parents are like super successful, if they're super up there, then like disregard this, but they're probably not. You probably want to do better than your parents. So then why are you taking advice from them? That's like listening to a fat guy tell you how to gain muscle. Like, sure, he'll tell you to like work out. What else is he gonna tell you? Eat, right? Like, bro, the couch is breaking while you're sitting on it and talking to me. Like, get up, go to the gym, then tell me what to do. You can't listen to people who are below you give you advice on how to go up because they haven't been there themselves. So if you want to reach a good place in your life, you probably should not listen to your parents. You should listen to mentors instead. Look for people online who are where you want to be. So maybe by 30 you want to become a millionaire, or even by 20. Listen to 20-year-olds who are millionaires. Copy what they do. Listen to them. Maybe you want advice on how to deal with friends in school or how to deal with real life people. Listen to someone who has a lot of good friends. People who say, oh, this guy's amazing, he's really good at social communication, all that stuff. And this concept ties into don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. I would no longer take advice from my parents because I don't want to live the life they did. Everything they're telling me now is opinion. I might take every so often, be like, okay, you know, I'm in this situation, and my mom's like really good with people and really good with situations like that, where it's like something's gone wrong. I'd ask her, okay, what do I do here? It's not like completely disregard your parents. They're probably good at something, but that's the only thing you take advice for. Everything else, if they're divorced, don't take relationship advice. If they're broke, don't take money advice. All that stuff. If they're fat, don't take health advice. Don't even eat the food they eat. I know this is going to be hard. Like, it's really hard, trust me, to not listen to someone who you've been listening to for the past 13, 14, 15 years. But it's for your own good. Truly. And a lot of people get stuck in this. Like, I have a friend who's Indian, right? And Indian people are like super, like, I know what he feels like. They're like super against you, like, oh, you gotta go to college, like, you have to do this, have to get good grades. This kid is a senior in high school. He's making about as much money as both of his parents are making combined. He started a little online tutoring thing. And it's like, they're still telling him to go to college. It's like, bro, they're making more money than you. After, in high school, why are you telling him what to do? And he keeps on saying, like, man, like, I don't even want to listen to them anymore. Like, I just want to move out, because he has the ability to. He's making enough to move out. He's under protection still because he can't, like, his parents have to take care of him until 18. But he's like, I don't even want to live with them anymore. Because it's like, I'm ahead of you now. I don't want to take your advice. And so that's just a little interesting concept. It's your own life. You shouldn't be scared to not listen to them. The only reason you're scared is because you love them. And you feel like if you don't listen to them, they're going to deny you something. They won't. They're your parents. They're not going to kick you out of the house because you said, no, I don't want to go to college. They'll still accept you for who you are. You're their son. You're their daughter. So that's a big one that I think is really a mindset changer for a lot of people. And yeah, the second one would be, you need to learn right now more than you need to earn. Right? So you probably think, oh yeah, I know everything. This guy's a loser. Like, look at him. Why is he doing that? My dress sense is better. I can talk more better than these people, right? But you might think you know everything, but you actually don't know shit. And this is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this effect is applied on a large scale on your own life. So let me give you an example. Let me explain what this is. The Dunning-Kruger effect is when you learn something or a bit of something, you think you know everything about it. So in my own life, when I started YouTube about a year and a half ago, right? I was like, oh yeah, I know what to do. Upload videos, edit them, maybe write a script, make a good thumbnail. Yeah, like I'll go viral. Like, I'll be good. Like, I'm set for virality. Now a year later, right? I started in December 2021. Now a year later, it's like, shit, I don't know anything. Like, what makes a good video? I'm still trying to figure that out. Right? What's a good thumbnail? Like, I don't even know what that is. What's a good title? And it's like, as you start learning more about something, you start realizing how little you know. Because think about it like this. If there is 100% of something left to learn, and you learn 1%, you're like, oh yeah, like, I know quite a bit, but you don't know there's 100%. But then you start learning 2%, 3%, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're like, oh God, there's a lot left to learn. There's a lot I still don't know about. And this is happening to like people like Mr. Beast. Like, you know, Mr. Beast, he's the guy who makes like these amazing videos. And he's like, I'm still learning how to make good videos. Like, bro, you're the most viral person on earth. You're still learning to make better videos. That's insane. And so I think you should be learning way more than you want to be earning right now, because people are chasing after money right now. Right? Oh, let me start this side hustle. Let me try and sell a course to some kids. It's like, you don't know anything. No one's going to buy a course from you. No one wants your social media marketing agency. You don't even know how to market. Why are you trying to earn money when you have zero skills? And let me remind you, right? People are going to say like, oh, about these kids who make 10K a month at 16, at 17. they've been making, like, here, I'll give you the example of Iman Gaji. People usually quote him, right? This is a kid who started making 10K a month at around like 17, 18. You gotta keep in mind, this guy started his social media, like, he started posting on social media and learning about marketing at 12. That's 5 years of hard work. Have you done that? Probably not. Most of the people who are successful started super early. If you're successful early, you've probably started earlier. Mr. Beast started making videos at 12. That's why he's a multi-centi millionaire. He's worth in the hundreds of millions at 23 or 24 or however old he is. Right? It's no longer about, oh, let me make 10K a month at 16. It's like, you gotta put in the 5 years of work before that. No one sees that. So, don't expect to learn, expect to earn. And how can you do this, right? So there's two ways. One is you start something that motivates you. For me, this is YouTube. Through YouTube, I've been able to learn how to speak. Literally learn how to speak. I can conversate so much better in real life simply because I'm able to come on here and be like, start a conversation with a camera. Like, no one's talking to me right now. Most people can't even hold a conversation for more than 5 minutes. Right? So there's something that motivates you and it'll teach you a skill. Start in SMMA, but don't expect to make money within the first 2 years. Expect to learn how to market, and you should be excited to learn these things. Learn how to market, learn how to sell, learn how to call people and get rejected. Right? You're no longer doing it for this end goal of 10K a month or 5K. You're doing it because you want to learn. And a lot of people can't accept that because they're focused on the outcome. The only reason you're focused on the outcome is because you think things are supposed to be hard. You think it's supposed to be, oh yeah, I gotta grind hard to get where I want and all that. Instead, if you want to learn really quickly while not caring about the money, do something you actually like. Now, I actually hate this idea of like, oh, follow your passion, follow what interests you. I hate that concept because a lot of the times when people say that, they're not doing it for the money, or they're playing like this inverse status game, right? So there's a status game of, oh, I want more money. But then there's this inverse status game where it's like, oh, I don't need money. You're playing the same status game of like, but with a different, let me say that again, sorry. You're playing the same status game, but with a different group of people. So you're no longer worried about like making money. You're just like, oh, I want to do what I like. I don't care about money anymore. And then a different group will accept you. That's why you're saying that. And so that's one way to do it. Start what you like. So I started YouTube. For you, that might be art. Maybe start selling art online. Try to sell it to people, right? Say, oh yeah, this art's, I don't know how you'd sell art. Oh, look, this art took me 40 hours to draw. It's based on you. Like, I love you. Please buy it. I don't know. However you might sell art, right? Learn it online. There's ways to learn it online. Watch YouTube videos, all that. Start an SMMA. Learn how to market. Learn how to sell. Learn how to do all that stuff. Maybe you could start your own YouTube channel. I don't know. Don't expect to earn within the first year or two. You're going to learn how to speak, learn how to write videos, all that stuff. There's another way though. And this is to read like an absolute lunatic. And I don't mean this in like, okay, read self-help, read philosophy, all that stuff, right? Read some textbooks. No, a lot of people find reading boring, I'll be honest. Like, I used to think it was boring. Even a year ago when I was reading about a book a week. Right? But now I actually like it. I may be like, how is that? Well, what I started doing is actually reading what I wanted to read. Right? It's common sense. It's like, I think we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. I think you need to be reminded that you need to do what you like. If you don't do what you like, someone who does like reading that stuff will beat you every single time. And so what I did here was I started reading science fiction. Right? A while back I started reading science fiction. So I read like dystopian novels. There's this book called Hatchet. It's like some kid lands in the... It's like completely fiction, right? There's this Blade Runner, you know, all that stuff, right? And then I started shifting more into like science nonfiction. Okay, let me read a bit about physics. Who invented physics? Okay, the beginning of time, right? Stephen Hawking, all this stuff. And then I started shifting more into physics. I'm like, okay, let me read a bit of, I don't know, I forgot what I read. There's a bunch of physics, right? Some cool stuff like, oh, here's how you can sum up physics in 6 easy ways. That's one book, Richard Feynman, 6 easy ways into physics. And then I started going into physics and philosophy, right? So I started reading more Richard Feynman. It's like he's talking more about how physics is like, if it can't break the laws of physics, then it's possible, which is very inspiring, by the way. That's in The Beginning of Infinity as well, David Deutsch. And then I started shifting more into philosophy itself because I wanted to read it. It's like I started reading philosophy itself. I started reading Krishnamurti. I started reading all these people. I forgot their names. Siddhartha. That's like a interesting book. It's a religious book. And then I read the Bible for fun. Like, it's for fun. I read the Quran for fun. I've just gone through all these different novels just because I wanted to read it. And now I've gotten knowledge that I really want to. Even today, like, I was just reading this. I have this in front of me, literally. The Giver. Right? This is a book I read in 6th grade. It's science fiction again. I still love reading it. I devoured it in 2 days. Amazing book. And the reason I read it so fast is because I wanted to read it. So you might start off at a different path, right? You might like reading about history. You might want to learn about the future of science. I don't know. Learn about how AI might take over the world. There's books on literally everything. You can read about social media, how social media blew up. So many things. Just start reading one thing. And once you get to that one thing, you'll realize, oh, maybe I want to shift into this. Now, there's a few rules with this. If you read a book and you're like, it's not really inspiring me, throw it away. I'm serious. Like, just put it to the side. Just literally, you're not obligated to finish a book. And if you feel obligated, you're probably on like page 356 of some obscure self-help book. Like, oh, this is gonna change your life. The reason you're not reading it is because you just don't want to. Like, there's gonna be people who say, oh, look, I'm reading this book. I'm better than you. It doesn't matter. You're not reading for them, you're reading for you. And this is a super meta skill that I think is super important to learn, even just life skills. And just learning to read in general is super important. And so that's, everyone's journey in this is unique, right? You might start from science fiction, or you might start from history, or you might start from art, I don't know, right? Just keep on finding a path. You're reading to read. You're not reading to learn something. You're reading to just read for the sake of reading, because it's fun. And you will like it, trust me. Now the third one, is that looks matter. Like, a lot. I'm gonna tell you about this kid in my school. Very smart, intelligent guy. Like, he barely studied, barely did anything. He always got A's and everything. He's given tests without even studying, showed up just half asleep, and he's almost aced them. Just a genius kid. But the problem was, he was kind of ugly. So, like, everybody made fun of him. And this was, like, back in 9th, 10th grade. I mean, of course, he was probably cheating, right? It was online school, but... He was kind of ugly, like he wasn't too good looking, and you know, when he came to school, like in-person school, this was around COVID, and COVID ended, it's like everybody started implicitly making fun of him or treating him as inferior, right? So, oh, like, yeah, like, look at that kid, like, oh, yeah, you can sit over here, like, let me sit here, or just move over, you know, just these small things of, like, you know, it's making him feel like he's inferior. Oh, just go stand in the back of the line, you know, let me stand here. Or, oh, I don't think you look nice in this, let me do it, right? Just stuff like that. And over time, he started ending up more and more closed off. He started getting worse grades. He started just not doing so well. He started slipping from A's to A minuses to B's to B minuses. And that's like his lowest point now. And people started soon explicitly making fun of him. Oh, look, your teeth are crooked. Like, oh, you look so ugly. Like, people like literally said that. And I started realizing, like, this guy's been slipping not because he's stupid. This guy's a genius, right? He's very smart. But because other people treated him as if he were inferior. So here's a kid who is actually really smart, but he's made fun of because he's ugly. I think looks truly matter. Like, people judge a lot by the way you look. Like, if you see a buff guy walking down... Like, here, I'll explain something to you. And try to image this in your mind. Imagine a super buff guy who's bald. Now, you probably have an image of this guy in your mind. Okay, he has, like, tattoos all over his arm. Like, oh, shit, he's probably, like, a mafia leader. Isn't it weird that we all have the same impression of this one person? Right? He's probably a mafia leader. He probably has a gun in his back pocket too. Right? Maybe he sleeps around with multiple women. Why do we have this image in our mind? Here's another one. Skinny kid steps out of a Lamborghini, right? He's wearing a nice dress. He's got a nice watch on. Oh, he probably has, and the way we guess, oh, he probably has, like, this is probably his father's money. Or, maybe he's, like, famous on TikTok or something. But let's say, same Lamborghini, same suit on, right? Same watch. But it's a big, gigantic dude. I'm not talking, like, muscular, I'm talking, like, fat. And you're like, oh, he's probably retired, worked in finance, worked in accounting, stuff like that. Our impressions change based on the way someone looks. If you get a beard, if someone gets a beard, right, you're like, oh, he's probably a bit more dominant. He's probably a bit more assertive, a bit more manly, a bit more masculine. Right? So people have these opinions right away when they see someone. And it's very obvious. Like, I think you really need to fix the way you look. And you need to establish a character of that person. So, for example, like, you probably know what this is, man. Like, you need to work out, you need to keep your skin clear, like, all that stuff. But there's also many things, like, you need to, like, stand up straight with your posture proper. Now, some people, like, overdo it. I know people, like, posture like this. Like, the way I've been sitting this whole time, like, this is normal posture. Like, my shoulders are pulled back enough so that it's not like I'm like this. Or my neck's not forward, but I feel more confident here all of a sudden. Now, if I sat like this, you'd be like, oh, like, he's a bit of a loser. I start looking down a bit more. It's like, oh, he's quiet, he's introverted, I keep my voice quiet. And now I'm gonna go back to my main posture, and it's just like, this guy's up there, like, he's pretty extroverted. And so, it's just, you can improve looks in a lot of ways. There's working out, there's mewing, which fixes your jaw. There's eating right, which, you already know of this, but, like, looks really do matter. Start wearing better clothes that actually fit you. Start making it so that, when you walk into a room, you command respect. You're not just a guy who walks in there, oh, hey, hi. You're like, hey, like, grab someone's hand firmly and shake it. Or, like, slap don't slap someone. But, just go in there, assert your dominance. Because you are the man. Like, go in there and earn it. Right? If you work out enough, people start seeing you as a guy who's like, oh, this guy commands respect. If you build confidence within, not just on the outside, you start faking it. If you fake it, it's like nobody believes you. But if you build it on the inside, it's like people start treating you differently. Trust me. I've seen it happen within myself and within others. And the fourth one is don't date. They just don't date. Like, a lot of people are worried about dating and all that. I just think it's a waste of time. No women at this age are good. No one. Like, none of them will provide you anything of value. You don't even have experience. Like, no one wants you. Maybe if you're, like, a senior, maybe if you're a junior, you're going for, like, a freshman, which is a little weird, but whatever. Like, maybe they'll take you because they're naive, but, you just have no experience. There's no point of doing this. It's a big waste of time. What are you getting? You're getting nothing. Maybe like a status boost if you lose your virginity, but you're getting like zero benefit from it. And so you might say to yourself, oh, but if I don't have experience now, how am I supposed to get girls in the future and all that? You don't need experience to get experience. Right? Let me explain this in proper terms. Our ancestors weren't going up in university practicing cold approach. Cold approach, bro. What is that? Your ancestors. Just imagine how stupid this sounds. Your ancestors who were like cavemen, like they had fires in front of them and they were huddled in groups, and they're just like, oh man, let me approach Bethany over there with my stick and stone and let me be like, oh, what's up, girl? You like my newly cooked beef? Like, what are you gonna? They didn't practice cold approaching. That's so stupid. Like, why? You don't need to get experience to have experience. It's innate. It's within you. You're supposed to be able to have a partner. That's the whole human species existence, right? It's in you to have a partner to reproduce. That's the whole goal of the human species. You don't need to go practice cold approach or I don't even know, whatever, pickup lines. Like, they're not dumb. Right? When you're 20, you'll figure it out. It's not a big deal. People make such a big fuss of this. Like, oh man, like I'm so good at picking up. I don't care. And here's the thing, right? If I was to date personally, and this might be advice to you as well, but I don't know. If I was to date personally, it would only be to marry. Right? So if I was to date someone, it would be like, okay, I know this person would marry me. Now, within that relationship, say I started a relationship with someone, and 3 months in, they start acting a little weird, they start yelling a lot. I'd be like, no, this is not the person I'd marry. Let me leave the relationship right away. And it's like, you only gotta be right once when it comes to dating. If you plan on marrying, you only gotta be right once. You'll be wrong 99% of the times, but the one time you are right, which is not gonna be in high school, it's almost never in high school. The one time you will be right, you're married, right? So don't worry about it in high school, seriously. Even in college, like first 2 years, it does not matter. You're 20 years old, no one cares about you. It's like, why? Go build it yourself. You can have a bit of fun, sure, but like I don't see the value in it, And that reminds me when I talk about college, this is number 5, which is life starts after high school, right? So you can mess around more. You have more freedom. This is concept which talks about you're actually born at 18. So everything previous to that, you're just learning how to live. I think that's super interesting. And the concept is that high school is just preparation for life. So you have social, legal, financial protection from your parents, from the government, from school, right? You have all this protection that's around you. You have the freedom to do nearly anything. Unless, of course, your parents stop you, right? But you have the freedom to do nearly anything. So do nearly anything. And of course, don't be stupid with it. Like, don't break laws. Like, maybe I don't condone breaking laws. Maybe go mess around. I don't condone it, but have fun. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, you're not supposed to know anything at this age. Like, honestly. People are like, oh man, I gotta have it all figured out. I want to be successful, business, 20, fully jacked, all that. It's like, bro, you're 14. Like, you were just out of the womb. No one cares. You're not gonna get there. And even if you do, you'd have to give up a lot to get there. You're not gonna have the same security financially. You're not gonna have the same freedom from the mind like 2-3 years from now, right? It's gonna be completely different. So, just do more pranks, right? Do more things in school that no one's gonna remember. Maybe like set up the chairs weird with one of your friends, I don't know. Throw all the chairs outside from the room, like it'll be super funny. Just do a bunch of stuff, man. Have fun. Like, these experiences in school are valuable, right? School itself is not valuable at all. People say they want the school experience. Nothing in school, when you say you want this high school experience, it's nothing within school that's actually the experience. It's everything outside of it, right? The experience is not sitting in a classroom for 8 hours a day being like, oh yeah, let me learn. It's an amazing experience. No, the experience is when you're sitting with your friends at lunch talking to them. The experience is when you set up a time with your friends on Friday to go wander the neighborhoods. The experience is when you walk into a random restaurant and tell them that you want to order something, then you just run away. That's the experience. It's not having a teacher tell you to do a test. No. High school experience is not within high school. It's everything outside of it. And so, pretty much, don't worry much about success or anything like that. Definitely prepare yourself for the life you're going to start at 18, right? Because even when you're 18, like 5 years from when you're 18, you're only 5 years old at 23. Like, seriously, you're 12 years old at 30. Maybe when you're 25, you should start figuring things out. Start learning more about, and I'm not going to tell you about 25, I'm not there yet, but, I just think life starts then, and right now you're just preparing for it. And so the next point is to always be honest, right? And this is not just the honesty you tell to your parents or to your friends, but to yourself. And here's the concept, right? Let's say the weather outside, it's raining. Now all of a sudden, right in your mind, you thought, oh, it's raining. Oh, that's bad weather. Why'd you think that? Like, this is a small example, right? But it's like, why do you think that raining is bad? What about rain is bad? It's just rain. I mean, what? There's nothing wrong with it. And so when you think of, I say sunny, oh, it's sunny outside. Oh, that's nice weather. It's wonderful. You're just assigning labels to things, right? And this is actually really bad for you, especially in high school, because what happens is when you start assigning labels to things, you start calling them good and bad, you start having more of these hard times because people think, oh, school is bad, right? School is annoying. So now you're just going to spend most of your existence right now that you have until 18 in a state of annoyance? Is that how you want to live? Right? If it's raining outside, let's say it rained every single day, literally every day of your life it rained. Are you just going to say, oh, it's always bad outside, I'm just never going to go outside? Like, no. You need to start switching up and start seeing reality instead of assigning labels to it. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, look, it's raining outside, it's beautiful, it's amazing. No, that's just delusion. I'm just going to tell you it's raining. Everything after that is not necessary. You say, it's raining, so it's bad weather. No. It's just raining. Bring an umbrella if you don't want to get wet. Right? I tell my sister sometimes, she asks me, like, oh, can we play outside? I'm like, no, it's raining. And she's like, oh, that's bad. I'm like, no, you're just going to get wet and it's too much hassle. And even when it's sunny, I'm not like, oh, look, it's amazing weather outside. I'm just like, oh, it's sunny. Like, we can play outside now. It's just, look at the facts, and this will save you from a lot of depression and anxiety. Because here's another one, right? If you are, for example, if you got like a bad grade on a test, again, bad grade, right? You're assigning a label to it. But what makes it bad? Maybe that it doesn't assist you to your goals. Okay, that makes sense, right? Maybe it makes you feel worse about yourself. Maybe your parents don't like it. Your parents tell you it's a bad grade. No, it's just a grade. It's not bad or anything. You assign that label. You choose to think if it's bad. And if you tell yourself it's bad and you consistently get bad grades, for example, right? Let's say you got bad grades forever. Are you just going to live in a state of depression, of anxiety, of knowing that you might never get an A? No. What kind of life is that living? That's not a life worth living. If you're just living in a state of anxiety of, oh, the grade could be an A, but it's not, so I'm just going to be anxious about it all the time. There's a lot of examples of this. I don't want to give it, but I just want to tell you that you get to define reality, right? You assign labels. A tree has no concept of good or bad. It just is. A tree sees rain, it is. It's just raining. Tree sees sun, okay, it's just sunny. Tree sees thunderstorms, okay, it's just thunderstorms. It's not good or bad or anything. Apply that to your own life in some way. I wish I could provide more examples, it's just not coming to me. Maybe try to think of some way that you could apply that to your own. And, when I say honest to yourself, I also mean honest to others. Of course, it's like common sense. You say, okay, be honest with others. And it's like with parents, maybe like, I think you're smart enough. I think you're smart enough to be honest. Like, there might be some stuff they tell you, oh, don't go out. But you're like, okay, there's nothing wrong with going out. You're probably right. But like, you're smart enough to be like, oh, don't do drugs. Like, everybody knows that. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Like, everybody knows this stuff. But it's like, if you feel the need to hide it, you probably shouldn't be doing it anyways. Right? If you feel the need to hide the fact that you're gaming all night, you probably shouldn't be gaming all night. Like, that's not, you should probably sleep. If you need to hide the fact that you just stole the whole bag of chips from like the pantry, it's like, you probably shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Like, that's horrible. Right? But if it's like you just stole a whole pack of like fruits from the fridge, it's like, that's not, you don't need to hide that. It's like your parents will be like, oh, great, you're healthy. So yeah, again, if you feel the need to hide something from either your parents or your friends or from anyone, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And you probably know what habits I'm talking about here in your mind. And here's number 8, I believe. I don't know, I've lost track. You only need 1 to 2 friends. Right? So most people right now, they're trying to chase these groups. They're trying to join. Let's say you're in high school, you like anime, you love anime. And you're just in school, you're like, oh man, like there's these guys talking about like whatever, what's the anime today? Naruto, hentai, whatever. They're like, oh, these guys talk about that. Let me join. And so you join these groups and it's like, sure, you have a small group of people who share an interest, but it's like they're not amazing people. Even though you guys like talking about the same thing, like you guys love talking about anime and hentai and whatever, it's like, oh man, I don't. They're just annoying people. They're not honest. They're always lying. They're like smoking. They're drinking all the time. It's like these are not great people. And so for me, instead of seeing friends as people who I can link interest with, I see them as people I would benefit from. You're not benefiting from your anime. They're just stupid. Like it's not. They're not even doing anything useful with your life. So you need to set high standards for your own friends, and if you break one or two of these standards I'm about to mention, you should leave them. Like be absolutely ruthless about this, because the thing is, and I'll get to this later, but it won't matter. It won't matter if you leave them or not. But I'll explain that after. But the one or two standards that you should be setting for yourself is intelligence, integrity, and drive. So intelligence is not just like, oh, like they're good in school, they're good in talking to people. It's like they should have common intelligence, like general intelligence. And it's like, this is just manners, like what your parents say about manners. It's like, if you go to their house one day and you see like, they start yelling at their parents, or they're just like rude around them, they don't even listen to them. It's like, this is probably not someone you should be around, right? If you see them talking to their friends and they start making fun of them, like, oh, you look so ugly today, haha, like, not good people to be around. Right, it's just general intelligence. It's also intelligence in school. So like high IQ, you can see like they work pretty hard, right? That's drive. Like if they have drive to do something, and these people usually lift you up as well. Because there's a phrase, right? Everybody knows this, that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's very true, right? And it's not just in person. It's also people you watch online. So if you watch a lot of me, it's like you're the average of me as well. And so, look for intelligence in them. Look for integrity. Integrity is just honesty. So, if they're honest with you a lot of the time, then you should probably spend more time with them. And drive, usually if you have goals you're trying to achieve, right? If you're trying to hit like some exercise goal, you should spend more time around these people. Now, usually it's hard for me to determine like intelligence, drive, and integrity. So, I usually ask myself 2 questions. 1, has my life gotten better as I spent more time around these people? And 2, would I usually go to war with them? And these 2 questions, usually they answer those three things: intelligence, integrity, and drive. So has my life gotten better since meeting them, right? That's a question like, are these people worth being around, right? Are they intelligent? Are they someone who can rise me up to their level? Are they honest with me, right? Can they tell me that where my flaws are? And would I go to war with them? That means they have hard goals, like they're hard people. Like they have drive, right? They're smart. They can figure out these things. So that kind of answers most of the questions around friends. And I think the friends I have, the 1 or 2 I do have, they do fit these questions. Like I would go to war with them. And my life has gotten better since meeting them. So your life should revolve around that, because remember, it's all about you. And your friends should really just serve you, right? And you should serve them without it feeling transactional. So let me explain what I mean by this. If your friend asks you for homework, right? Oh, yo, give me the homework. Like, I need it today. And you're like, okay, like, whatever. Like, I'll give you some of the homework. And, yeah, you give him the homework, but then the day after, he's like, bro, I forgot my homework. Yo, can you give me it? You're like, oh, you get a little annoyed. You're like, all right, here's the homework. And, you ask him for the homework for, like, some other class, for, like, science. This is for math. You ask him the homework for science, you're like, oh, bro, can you, like, give me the homework? I forgot to do it. He's like, oh, no, like, I'm not trying to get, like, plagiarized, what if she figures out? Automatically, I'm dropping them. That is transactional, right? That is bad. That is a horrible way. Even though I said they should be fitting your goals, you should be helping them as well, but they should also be helping you, which they're not helping you here. Homework feels transactional. When they ask you for help, like, oh, help me on this, help me on that, it's transactional. But if you're sharing roles, for example, in like a business, let's say you started a lawn mowing business. He's the guy who goes around doors, he knocks on them. He's like, oh, would you like some lawn mowing? And you're the guy who lawn mows, and then you guys split the bill, right? Or sorry, split the income. That is a good, you helping each other, right? Because if you had to do it alone, then you'd have to go knock on the door and cut the lawn, right? But it's like now he's helping you split something and you're just gonna split the bill so that you can get more money done. Sorry, more lawns done. And that's how it should be. That's how friendship should be. They should be serving your goals. You should not just be serving theirs. It should feel like you guys are both mutually benefiting from this. Like for example, me and PJ, like we're working on YouTube together, and it doesn't feel transactional at all, because it's not. We're working towards each other's goals. Where it's like we're working on the same channel. He knows how to make thumbnails better than I do. I know how to make some parts of the video better than he does. We give each other advice. It's like, okay, maybe you should do this to the thumbnail. Oh, beneath, like maybe change up this part. It's a horrible hook. Or, this intro is trash, maybe fix it up. We give this advice to each other, and it's like, it's not transactional. We're just helping each other reach the same goal. So if you guys also have shared goals, it's like, that's amazing. So let me remind you, intelligence, integrity, and drive, and shared goals, which is probably comes within that drive part of things. And if you fit those three, that's an amazing friend. That's the best. You'll probably have them for 20 years. Like, no joke. I don't know personally, but I feel like that's someone you'd have for like 15, 20 years as a friend. And because of these super high standards, like no one's gonna fit them. You're going to be lonely most of the time, and that's okay. Like entirely, that's fine. It's fine to be lonely. A lot of people can't accept this, but truly, like, it's very important to realize that a lot of the time you won't have people around you. And this is like an age where you feel like, like, oh, I'm alone, like I don't have anyone around me, but you will be alone a lot of the time if you want good friends. But once you find one or two, you build a super deep connection with them, you can share anything with them. And I truly feel that I can do that with my friends too. That is a friendship worth having, and it takes time to develop. Let me tell you, it takes 1, 2, 3 years to build trust. But once you build that trust, it's there forever. And you can share anything. So if you want to attract these good friends as well, because there's people out there looking for each other in the crowd, golden rule. Remember, we have to be reminded more than we have to be taught. Follow the golden rule. Just treat others how you want to be treated. Give others more than they expect in their entire life. Give them a lot of love. Give them praises, all that. Because that's probably what you want. If you want it, give it to others. You'll find those people. Common sense. You just need to be reminded this. I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just putting it into different words. And here's my favorite one. This is my absolute favorite that I started a very long time ago. And it's just been so helpful. Consult your 80-year-old self. And let me tell you how this happened. So I actually got bad grades, like horrible grades last semester. Like it wasn't amazing. Final exam messed me up. I was supposed to get A's. Like it was not good. I'll just tell you that. And I got these horrible grades, and what I do is I have an 80-year-old self version of me. And this guy's in my mind somewhere, right? But what I do, I take a little journal, even sometimes on my phone, a notes doc. And I do a dialogue between me now, so the current person I am, and my 80-year-old self. So when I'm 80 years old. And what I do is I talk to this guy, and I'm like, dude, I got horrible grades. And then it's me texting back to myself as an 80-year-old person, like, does it even matter? And then me in my 15-year-old self, like, what do you mean? Like, of course it doesn't matter. Like, my college and all that, like, what's gonna happen? And my 80-year-old self, like, do you think you'll remember these grades when I'm 80? Like, I'm 80 right now. I don't even know my grades. So this sounds kind of confusing, but it's literally you talking to yourself, but pretending one person's 80 and pretending one person is just you right now. And through that, I was like, oh, it doesn't even matter. Like, why am I worrying about my grades? And I think you probably have the answer to your problems. You're just not willing to accept it. That's a lot of people's problem, actually. That they know what they should do. If you're fat, you know you should eat healthy. You know you should work out. You know you should do all this stuff, but you just don't. Ask your 80-year-old self. Listen, and this is the best part, right? If you ask your 80-year-old self, this person, one, has the best intention for you. They have the best interests at heart for you. Because they're you, literally. They want you to be the best version you can be. And they don't want anything in return. And you can talk to them anytime you want. Just pull up a little notes document. Oh man, like I'm seeing this girl, what should I do? When you're 80, does it matter if you get rejected? Like that's what I would say to myself. Like, bro, you're like 15. She's probably not even gonna be alive when you're 80. Does it even matter? She's gonna die. You're like, oh, all right, let me just talk to her. And now it's become automatic in my mind. Like I kind of dialogue with myself in my head. When I'm thinking of something, oh, I kind of want to do it, but I don't know if I should. My 80-year-old self's like, bro, do it. And yeah, I mean, you'll usually solve all your problems because either you learn it won't matter in 5 years, or it's good for the long term. So for example, if you got into a breakup right now, you talk to your 80-year-old self, man, I got into a breakup, it's so sad, it sucks. Your 80-year-old self would be like, bro, that breakup taught you what kind of girl not to be with. Now you have experience. Now you know who not to be with. You're like, oh, all right, like, that's perfect. All of a sudden, your depression's gone. Like, what depression? Well, breakup? All right, cool. I just learned something. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, you can just take anything and talk to this 80-year-old person. He's always there for you. Just pull it up on a notes doc and start talking to yourself. Like, I'll be like, hey, what's up, 80-year-old me? I'll call him, what's up, dog? Like, I'll literally talk like that. What's up, dog? And I'll be like, yo, at my 80-year-old self. Just put spaces in between, just press enter. And yeah, just do it until you solve the problem. I think most of the time I solved within like 3 paragraphs. It's just self-therapy. Amazing. And here's our last one. Document everything. And by this I mean record, journal, any way you want to do it. Take pictures, right? I wish I documented more. And even like these horrible, shitty videos are fine. Like if you go back on this channel, I have videos of me from 1 year ago. I was just watching it actually. I'm like, wow, I was horrible. And even a year from now, I'm gonna look back at myself now and be like, wow, I was so awkward. And you know, it's just events that you'd be like, wow, like I really went through that phase and look where I am now. And as you improve, as you grow up, you'll be like, oh, I wish I recorded more of myself. And you shouldn't be recording the rare events. Don't record the one time you went out to Disneyland, or I don't know, if you went out to some place with your friends. No, record the small things. I'll give you an example. I was at the gym just 2 days ago. You know, I was just sitting outside waiting for my mom. She had to pick me up. My bike broke. Horrible. But my mom was picking me up and I saw this couple, right? They're about my age, about 17, 18-ish, right? They graduated high school, I could tell. And you know, I saw them just walking past. And they're just messing with each other. Like the girl's like pushing him, oh, stop, like, and the guy's like, you play around too much. She's like rubbing her hair. It's just these small things that you're kind of like, wow, that's beautiful, like that's amazing. It's absolutely these small things. Like you could record the big events, right? You could record, oh, that one time we went out to New Year's Eve, all that stuff. But it's like it doesn't matter, right? There's millions of other people recording that as well. No one's recording the unique stuff, like when you were sitting down and just talking to your friend for 3 hours straight on like a rooftop of a house. Like take pictures there. Sometimes I take pictures of random sunsets. Literally, like my phone gallery, like it's just full of like pictures of random leaves or just me in the forest or something like that. Sometimes my sister, when I'm messing around with her, I just have pictures of that, videos. I'm like, sure, it might be taking up stupid storage, but at some point I'm gonna look back and be like, wow, that was fun. Like I miss that. Even now, I'm only like I'm only a senior. And I'm still looking back right now and I'm like, wow, like that's beautiful. So take more pictures of these common events. Just get into the habit of that. Write down what you have. I have a journal. It's back there. But I have a journal I just write in every so often. I'm like, bro, I'm feeling like this problem. Like, how should I solve it? And yeah, I mean, those are most of the rules I think apply for high school students. And notice how I only mentioned one actual thing about school. Like none of this stuff is actually about school. It's about the person you develop during this period of time in high school. And you'll be learning a lot along the way. Like maybe you're a freshman, sophomore, junior right now. I'll tell you, you're gonna learn so much within these next few years. Like a lot. It's more than you can imagine, but I think once you do learn it, you'll start realizing you should have learned them faster. School wasn't the biggest problem in your life. It was the small things you wish you were more present in. So yeah, just apply all those. I hope it helped, right? That's all I got for you. But yeah, bye.